Good afternoon. My name is Susan Thomas. I'm a program manager at the Office of Data Governance at Ohio Department of Transportation. And today I want to tell you a little bit about our data literacy initiative. So I'll start by defining data literacy for us. We're referring to it as an individual's ability to read, understand, and leverage data, communicate with data. And we've outlined some very high-level goals that we feel is important to note as we start down the journey at ODOT for data literacy. So like all other agencies, we're finding that we're more and more dependent on data-driven decisions and the tools that you need to be able to derive those decisions. We want to be able to gain how the agency's business units value data and data literacy for their operational needs. We want to capture what platforms and data is currently being used and assessed and accessed by our staff, where it's located, and are they adequately trained to use and interact with these tools and platforms to make those decisions. Lastly, we want to gain insight into if data users can access the data that they're required, that's required for their data-driven decisions. Do they have problems accessing it because it's not available to them on their network? Answering questions like that. We also want to be able to describe the data to other business units that may not be as familiar with your data. So, can you use visualization tools to help you describe that data to someone else that is not as familiar? That's what we're looking for. So we've outlined the challenge with this question. Is the data that we have available answering the questions or providing value to our business units? Can business units easily explain their data to someone else through applications like Power BI, web mapping, other types of reports? Is the data the business units require to make decisions easily accessible to them? Do they have to go to 5 different places to find the data? Do they have to get a hold of someone in a different department to have them send it to them? Do the business units know where to look to find trainings for their technical staff? Sometimes business units don't know what they don't know, and we want to make sure we can help with that. And can we measure growth in the data literacy of our employees? Being able to get a baseline, I think, is very important. So developing a data literacy initiative is something that we're moving forward with at ODOT. We're in the just past scoping phase of this initiative. So we wanted to be able to define a data literacy and what our expectations are for this initiative. We want to collaborate with key stakeholders within the agency, like IT, local programs, and human resources, to help give us an agency-like wide buy-in. And we want to also work with other agencies around the state to help gain some best practices. And then we want to educate our ODOT leadership about the benefits of ensuring that their staff has access to training in these types of applications that they can leverage within their business units for their business needs. So we need an action plan. We plan to distribute an initial assessment of our agency at central office first before we would go out to our district staff and offices. So we plan to review this initial online assessment result to glean from it where we have groups that we can put together and identify their needs. And then we want to align these needs with the data business owners, the system owners out there that have applications and systems, and then create and document a process where we can then match our training for these end users, the data users, to these identified needs. And then we want to conduct a follow-up assessment and review and analyze this follow-up assessment for successes and for gaps where we missed the first time. So this defined success criteria is something that I wanted to show here that we will use as a win. We want to have a high percentage of participants complete this assessment. So we're sending it to office administrators. With about 38 of them at central office at ODOT, in hopes that they will complete it and at least give us this initial baseline of information. We want to define a process where we will match available resources to the data end users' identified needs. And then we want to have this analysis of the follow-up assessment of those follow-up assessments results, outlining those gaps and measures for improvement. And then moving forward, we plan to have an annual skills assessment every year where we can use this to compare to this baseline. And then we want to promote, anytime you have a success, you want to promote those users and be able to show where we've been able to meet the needs around the agency. So overall, the overall purpose of the data literacy program is to assess the current data literacy levels within our organization, analyze the results of that assessment, and finally establish a process to align training resources and knowledge repositories and make them available to the individuals that require it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will be happy to help. Thanks again.